Hello. So today I'm going to be talking about the importance of communication and interpersonal skills for the occupational therapy interview process at LSU HSC in New Orleans. So just some facts about communication. As you can see here, the vast majority of your communication is your nonverbal signals. This includes your body language, your eye contact, and your facial expressions. The other majority of your communication is your vocal characteristics. This includes your pitch and tone, your volume, your inflection, and the articulation of your words. So this leaves 7% of communication to be the actual words that you say. And this is important to remember for the interview process because you want to make sure that the words you say line up with your nonverbal signals. Your words match your body language, your eye contact, and your facial expressions. So you received an interview based off of how you look on paper, your GPA, your volunteer experience, and your work experience. So this in-person interview is to get to know you better as a person. What are you passionate about? What is your confidence level? And what is your attitude in general and towards occupational therapy? So just some tips about communication. Like I said earlier, making eye contact with someone is extremely important when talking to them. This way, they know that you're attending to the conversation and that you're engaged. It's also important to demonstrate active listening. This way, you can make sure that you understand the question that they're asking you. And if you're actively listening to them, hopefully you'll be able to understand the full question. And when you respond, your answer should be concise. So just take a deep breath and try to think about what question they're really asking you, even if you need to ask them to repeat the question. This way, when you respond, your information is in a logical manner and you're not rambling and going off on a tangent on a story that they don't really remember what your point is to it. So it's also important to remember to speak professionally. In the world we live in today with social media, we have a lot of slang language through texting and online. But in the interview process, you want to remember to speak professionally. And lastly, remember to demonstrate a positive attitude towards learning because you are applying for a continuing education program. And so you want to make sure that they understand that you're interested in learning more about occupational therapy. So the type of interview that you will have is a committee interview, and this is being interviewed by a panel or a group of people. This panel will include a few faculty members and some community OTs. This group format saves time and allows everyone to hear the same questions and the same answers to the questions. This way, it's not based off of one person's opinion about you, it's the collective majority opinion. This format also shows how you perform under pressure and how you interact with others. So having interpersonal skills is a huge part of being an occupational therapist, and your interpersonal skills will be observed throughout the entire interview process, whether you're in person or on Zoom. And these interpersonal skills are observed with how you interact with other interviewees. Do you demonstrate active listening when talking to them? Is your nonverbal communication consistent? Do you have a positive attitude toward learning? Do you motivate others? And do you present information in a logical manner? It's also important to have interpersonal skills when you become an occupational therapist, because this communication is important when you're trying to build rapport with patients, their family members, and also other members of your team. You also want to make sure that you have interpersonal skills so that you can be able to advocate for your profession and your services. And lastly, you want to make sure that your passion for occupational therapy shines through. So just be yourself. And if you're passionate about occupational therapy, this should be one of the easiest questions to answer. And hopefully you'll easily be able to communicate this with others. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and here are my references.